I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. Hi, and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test part 288, the House of Lords, that is on page 111. By doing short impingement training, and if you participate in a short impingement training, that is at your own risk. The House of Lords. Members of the House of Lords, known as peers, are not elected by the people and do not represent a constituency. So you know the people of the House of Commons, they are elected by, we should read also first, they are elected by the people in the constituency, with a few hundred or a few thousand people. And when we come in the House of Commons, the members of the House of Lords are not elected and they don't represent a constituency. The role and membership of the House of Lords has changed over the last 50 years. Until 1985, so it is all past, all peers were hereditary, which means they inherited their title, or senior judges, or bishops of the Church of England. So they inherited their title from their parents. They were senior judges, that means they were very high judges, or they were bishops of the Church of England. Since 1985, so that's today, since 1985, the Prime Minister has had, oh, it's not today, he's go on with 1999, so also passed from 1958 until 1999, had the Prime Minister the power to nominate peers just for their own lifetime. These are called life peers. They have usually had an important career in politics, business, law, or another profession. Life peers are appointed by the monarch on the advice of the Prime Minister. They also include people nominated by the leaders of the other main political parties or by an independent appointments commission for non-party peers. Since 1999, hereditary peers have lost the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. They now elect a few of their number to represent them in the House of Lords. What is someone's number? Elect a few of their number. The House of Lords is normally more independent of the government than the House of Commons. It can suggest amendments or propose new laws, which are then discussed by the Member of Parliament in the House of Commons. The House of Lords checks laws that have been passed by the House of Commons to ensure they are fit for purpose. It also holds the government to account to make sure that it is working in the best interests of the people. There are peers who are specialists in particular areas, and the knowledge is useful in making and checking laws. The House of Commons has powers to overrule the House of Lords, but these are not used often. Okay, most of the things we actually understand. The House of Lords. The people in there are known as peers. And they are not elected and they don't represent an area of country in the United Kingdom. And in the last 50 years, there were changes who they are and what they do. In the past, until 1958, their title was inherited. They were senior judges or bishops of the Church of England. Then in the middle period, the Prime Minister had nominated them for their lifetime. And it was then called life peers. And they are usually, or were usually had an important business, important career already in politics, or had an important business, or they were lawyers or something like that, or they had another high profession. And the peers of the House of Lords are given by the monarch on advice of the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister has the power to nominate peers, but somehow in a way, or maybe it is later, the Prime Minister says the monarch who the monarch should appoint. They include people nominated by the leader. Yes, also of other political parties. So not just the main political party who had won the House of Commons, but also of other political parties can the peers be. And or by an independent appointments commission for non-party leaders. So an independent appointments commission, with who's led, can select some people who are not of any party, and we can still become peers. So, by 1999, since then the people do not just inherit a peer from the parent, I think, but now someone, the person who would give it on, selects a few of their number, a few of their own political party, a few of their children, a few of anyone, a few of their number, and they should then represent them in the House of Lords. But it can't be that one person then has, in the next generation, 10 people, so just one of them can. Right. And it is more independent than the House of Commons. It can amend. I don't know what it means, so really amendments. It can suggest amendments and it can propose new laws. And the members of Parliament are talking then about if these laws make sense. And the House of Lords checks that the laws that have been passed by the House of Commons are fit for purpose. So the House of Commons can also say trains should not drive at 3 o'clock. And then the House of Lords looks at the law and says if it makes sense or not. And maybe we're saying no, trains should drive every time. So we're saying yes, we also want to sleep at night. More trains at night. It holds the government to account to make sure that it is working in the best interests of the people. So now we're saying, does it really make sense? There are so many people at night at 3 o'clock who want to drive the train. We cannot just leave them in the middle of nowhere in the night. We have to drive home. And then there are the other people saying, I don't know. So we're making sure they are in the interests of the people. And there are some peers who are specialists in particular areas. So maybe someone is a scientist who studies sleep, and they know who should sleep, and others are studying transport and saying, no, some people have to drive at 3 o'clock the train now. They have to drive somehow, and they are experts on some things. And their knowledge is useful in making and checking the laws. Because maybe someone knows a lot about trains and says we cannot shut them down. We have only steam engines and we can't shut them down at night. We have to run the whole night. And it's better they drive, better stand, something like that. So they are experts on some laws. So we can check them if it makes sense. The House of Commons has powers to overrule the House of Lords. So now the House of Lords says, no, train should drive at 3 o'clock, but now the House of Commons can say, no, sleep is important, the trains stop in the night. But that doesn't often happen, so the trains are driving at night. Now, we are through the House of Lords. You understand the most part. We will now do just a short impingement training. If you're here for the speaker, then you can go directly to the next part. Otherwise, if you're not only for the speaker here, you can participate in short impingement training. That will be the trial on the scale. We're warming a bit up to go back, up, the front and down the shoulders, back. And the last time. And the other way around, front, up, back, and down. Last time. Now we will lift up. Legs are standing a bit on shoulder wide apart. We're having long arms. Hands up to fists and turning these fists to the inside. So internal rotation of the arms and the shoulders together. So the arms to the inside and the shoulders together. Down and up the chest a bit to the sky. That is effort. So try to bring the arms further to the inside. Shoulders further down. Further together. So change the arms to the outside, shoulders together. Down. And change arms back, shoulders down. And then last time changing the arms to the outside, shoulders down. And similar exercise. The arms to the outside, hands from the fists a little bit in front. And now turn the arms in front, and the shoulders down and together. And ready again with effort. Arms further in front, shoulders down together. Now change. The arms back, shoulders up and in front. Change again. The arms in front, shoulders down together. Change for last time. The arms back, shoulders up and in front. And to the exercise. Now the shrug. We are lifting the arms up and shrugging the shoulders up and releasing it all again. Do this only if it does not cause pain. Again, the arms up. Shrug the shoulders up and release it all again. Again, the arms up. Shrug the shoulders up and release it all again. One last time. Arms up, shoulders up, and releasing. Press the quad, arms together, and down to the outside, and to the inside, and just observe what the scapulars are doing. So basically you do nothing, but you observe. Observe scapulars up to the outside, and scapulars to the inside of an opening to the top, to the outside of the ribcage a bit. Again, back together a little bit. Opening, not really very much together. And last time to the outside, to the inside. Now the sun dial. You can use instead of a sock also a tennis ball or something. Have it on the outside and in front of the hand catch it. Have it straight up. And one last one in front. Now change with the arm. And these were all the exercises. Now we're stretching. One arm in front. Shoulder stays back, down, put the arm in. Let the thumb up and try to relax more. Back, down, the arm and thumb up, try to relax. The arm, shoulders back, down. Pull the arm and thumbs up, try to relax it. Okay, we have the Big Ben and the Eden Garden. Eden Project. Now we're having Edinburgh Castle. It is a prominent or dominant feature in the skyline of Edinburgh. It is in Scotland, and it dates back to the Middle Ages and is looked after by the historic environment. In Scotland. It is looked after by Historic Environment Scotland. So Edinburgh Castle in Edinburgh, in Scotland, dominant feature of the skyline of Edinburgh. It's looked after by Historic Environment Scotland. It dates back to the early Middle Ages. I thank you very much, and have a nice day.